this short video, I'm going to look at the topic of the statement of comprehensive income. We're going to look at what it actually means, how you would complete one, what the key terms are, and also we're going to look at the profitability ratios and how you might use them. The statement of comprehensive income shows the profit and loss that an enterprise has made. It is typically conducted yearly. Now just think about the key words here are it shows the profit and loss. It sometimes is called an income statement, or it's also called a profit and loss account. But the clue in the title is statement of comprehensive income. Income, profit and loss. Here we have an example of a statement of comprehensive income on the right hand side of your screen. The top section is a section where you can calculate your gross profit. It contains all the information that you need to do this. You have your turnover or revenue, and then you have your cost of sales. Remember, your turnover or revenue is your sales, so money going into your business, and the cost of sales is a cost to make your product or service, so money going out. You need to subtract your cost of sales from your turnover and then you get your gross profit. That's a formula that you need to know. The second section is a section where you're able to calculate your net profit. So you'll have all your other operating costs. Here in the example I've categorized them together and you simply subtract those from your gross profit to get your net profit. The gross profit is the profit that you make on the items you sell and the net profit is the profit that you get to keep at the end of the business. Here are the two key formulas that you need to know and make sure you learn. You calculate your gross profit by doing your revenue or your turnover minus your cost of sales, and you do your net profit by doing your gross profit and take away all other costs. You can see that I've highlighted in yellow in my example where the calculations are taking place on this document. Make sure you know those formulas, write them down and practice them. So your gross profit is the amount of profit that the enterprise makes on the items it sells. This is not the overall profit because at this point you have not taken away all those operating costs such as your rent, maybe your salaries, or even things like your broadband and other costs that you may have in your business. However, at this point here, your gross profit shows you how much profit you are making on the items you sell. You can actually measure that as a percentage using a ratio known as a gross profit margin. Let's have a look at how that's calculated. The gross profit margin is calculated by doing the formula gross profit divided by your turnover multiplied by 100 to turn it into a percentage. In my case here, that would mean 35,000 divided by 50,000 and then multiplied by 100, which would be 70%. So that means that I have a 70% gross profit margin, meaning that every item I sell, I make 70% profit on it. Now the other type of profit we can calculate is net profit. That's the amount of profit that the enterprise makes after all the other costs have been taken away. So after I've taken away my salaries, my rent, my utilities, my broadband. And we can also measure that as a percentage. And we use the net profit margin ratio for that. We calculate our net profit margin by doing net profit divided by turnover times 100. As you can see in my example here, I actually have a 10% net profit margin, meaning that the business will make 10% profit at the end of every year. If you want to think about numbers that I plugged into that, I've used my £5,000, I divided it by my £50,000 and then multiplied it by 100. And that's how you calculate your net profit margin. So at the end of the year, my business will be giving me a return of 10%. So as a quick recap, these are the key words that you need to make sure you understand. Firstly, you need to make sure you understand that a statement of comprehensive income shows a profit and loss that a business makes. You need to understand that turnover and revenue is money going into a business. You need to understand that cost of sales is the cost to make a product or service. You need to understand that operating costs are all the other costs that go on in a business. And you need to be able to calculate gross profit and net profit. So you need to be aware that gross profit is revenue minus cost of sales. And you need to be aware that net profit is your gross profit minus all other costs. You also should be aware that net profit is the final profit you get to keep, where gross profit is a profit you make on every item you sell. If you understand those key words, you'll be able to complete this section of the topic with a good, strong level of competency. Don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms and remember to hit the subscribe button down below.